Hello, hi everyone. It is time for this week's edition of Book Cooks. I am super hungry. I have all of my ingredients already prepped. The recipe is on our website. We are making this American style cheesy beef goulash and macaroni from the Skinny Taste One and Done cookbook by Gina Homolka. I really like her cookbooks. I have her air fryer one on hold right now on Libby. Actually, it just came in and I didn't have time to look at it, so I used the deliver later function on Libby. If you don't know what that is, it's really useful. But this cookbook is basically, so it says for your Instant Pot, slow cooker, air fryer, sheet pan, skillet, Dutch oven, and more. 140 no-fuss dinners. So basically the premise of this cookbook is that every recipe can be done in one piece of equipment. The recipe that I'm using is for the Instant Pot, but there are directions underneath for those who don't have an Instant Pot. I do not need an Instant Pot. That's definitely, I know everybody loves them, but that's something that I don't need to add to my kitchen. So I followed the stovetop instructions, which are the instructions that I put on our website. So I love the description that she gives. Everyone needs a few quick and easy family-pleasing meals in their arsenal for busy weeknights. That's where this recipe comes in. This is not the kind of Hungarian goulash I grew up eating with my European immigrant dad. This American version, which dates back to the early 1900s, is more like a cross between a healthier Hamburger Helper and mac and cheese. So good. The macaroni cooks right in the sauce, so it's super simple to make. And so as usual, her recipes are easy to customize. You can do ground beef, ground turkey, ground chicken, depending on your dietary needs or what you like. You can do gluten-free macaroni. I'm doing grain-free macaroni, so I cooked mine a little bit different. Technically, this was 2 pots instead of 1. Because my grain-free macaroni does not take that much time to cook, so I didn't want to put it in here. I don't know. I probably could have, but, whatever. And so it's really, all of the recipes in this book are really easy to make and do. So we're going to get started right away. So everything is going to go right into this big pot here. So I'm going to turn on my heat. And we're going to start with about half a tablespoon of olive oil. And that's going to be for our onions. I have some already diced onions. These are frozen, so I'm going to cook them. And we just cook them until they start to get brown. So I'm going to go ahead and get these right on in here. Just want these to heat up, brown. I'm just going to coat them a little bit in that oil. If you have an Instant Pot at this point, you would be using the saute function on your machine, but again, not into the Instant Pot. So I thought it was really helpful that she put all of the recipes, just different adaptations. There are some air fryer recipes in there, and then similarly it says, like, if you don't have an air fryer, this is what you can do. Okay, so my onions are starting to sizzle. We're going to let these get nice and soft. I have already opened up all of my cans. I have my cheese pre-portioned. We're working on portion control here. I am. So is Licorice. So I've already pre-measured everything just so I know how much I'm getting. I have an 80% lean, 20% ground beef. But, like it says in her book, it says you can use any meat that you want. If you want to sub in ground chicken or ground turkey, you can definitely do that instead. There's no problem with that. Alright, so my onions are starting to get soft, but I want them to brown up a little bit. We want some flavor. And then after that, we add the beef, and I have some paprika here. Not smoked paprika, you want the regular sweet paprika, and some salt, and that's when we put in the beef. So we want these onions to brown a little bit first, and if we put them in with the beef starts to release all of its own fat and stuff, so you might not get like a great kind of sear, you can't really sear onions, but you know what I mean, on the onions. They might just get soft and mushy and you might not get any color on them at first if you put them in with all that fat from the beef. Alright, they're starting to get some color. I don't know if you can see. Not really. You can move this a little closer. Starting to get a little bit of color in here. Just a little bit longer. We used her other cookbook, Meal Prep, many moons ago, and that one was just full of like really quick meals, but hers also, a lot of the recipes have like, so see this one has that little yellow Q, that means that this is a quick meal, and the GF, the orange, means that this can be gluten-free or is naturally gluten-free, and so a lot of the recipes in this book are like that. Like over here, the chicken and lentil soup is gluten-free, dairy-free, and I don't remember what the other one stands for. I haven't spent that much time looking through this cookbook. I kind of flipped through it and I saw a few things that I bookmarked. What was the other one that I bookmarked? Let's see. Oh, that looks good too. Oh, creamy butternut pasta with spicy sausage and spinach, but I don't have a butternut squash, but that sounds amazing. Alright, so my onions look pretty good, so we're going to go ahead and, oh yeah, they look good. There's also like the fine line, you want them to be brown, but you don't want them to burn. So at this point now is the perfect time for me to add in my beef, my paprika, and start to get this going as well. We want our beef to brown up as well. I'm going to put this in and go wash my hands. Try not to get any of the plastic in the pot. Okay. Wash my hands. I think this is 1 1/4 teaspoon of paprika that I'm going to add on top so that as I start to break apart the beef, it'll get all mixed in, as well as with the salt that I'll add in. Let me just mix this up first. In my salt now. Alright, that should be good for now. I can always add more salt, and then also we are going to add some beef broth later. And she does say use a low sodium, but when I order stuff from like grocery delivery or whatever, I can't always choose. So I know that that one has a higher salt content than what she calls for, so I'm not going to add a ton of salt in just yet. Alright, so I got my beef starting to go here. As it releases some of its fat, it's going to get all those brown bits off the bottom of the pan, which will also happen when we add in our beef broth. That's called deglazing. Alright, let's see, what does she say here? So I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit because we want this to cook and brown a little bit more before we start to add in everything else. The next thing that we're going to add is I have a fresh bell pepper that I diced up. I'm just going to kind of spread this all out here onto the pan. Okay, and let this cook. Okay, so I have a bell pepper. Use any color. Well, she says orange or red, and that just happens to be what I have. What's next? The bell pepper, the garlic, and the Worcestershire sauce, which I don't keep. I don't eat it. It has sugar in it, so I'm going to use just a little bit of coconut aminos. I think the technical replacement is like a little bit of coconut aminos and a little bit of hot sauce. But I'll pass on the hot sauce because I didn't think about it until just now. And I have hot sauce all the way over there, but it's fine. Alright, so that'll be the next thing that we add in, and we'll cook that until this is nice and soft. This is like a really hearty lunch. This is really nice and hearty, but you know, it's warm out today, so it's not, you know, it's not like a soup, it's not too warm. There's still a little chill in the air, so this is kind of nice to have like a nice hearty lunch. And this makes 6 servings. Still see some pink in here. I definitely want to get rid of the majority of the pink. Obviously this is going to continue to cook, but it will cook better on its own. See if I can get a little brown on it too while it's in the pan with just itself and the onions, because it tastes better that way. And also I really like that we're cooking this in one big pot, and it's a big pot, so there's no grease splattering everywhere too, which is really nice. So again, this is also quick because now I don't need to excessively clean the grease off of my stove as if maybe I was making some like ground beef or fried veggies in a frying pan. I don't want to overcook this, but I do want to try to get out some of cook off some of the liquid, but I can readjust. Alright, now's a good time to go ahead and add my bell pepper. This is just like one kind of average size bell pepper and 2 cloves of garlic. And what am I doing? A tablespoon? A teaspoon of the coconut aminos. Alright. Drip, drip. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stir that all in. We want these veggies to get nice and soft, and we want that garlic to kind of cook down and soften up so that it's not so strong. Cooked garlic is delicious. Raw garlic is harsh. As much as I love garlic, raw garlic is harsh, right? Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see this now. There's more stuff in there. I just love the color that these bell peppers have instantly added here to my dish. And if you're in the Instant Pot, you're still cooking on saute. You're still using the pot as it is. You haven't turned on the pressure yet. Then we're going to, I need the broth and a bay leaf. Which I have bay leaf over there. Let me go get the broth. The bay leaf in now because you want that flavor to release, and I'm not gonna let this sit and simmer for like 20 minutes with everybody here on Facebook Live, so I'm gonna put that in a little sooner just to get that getting a little more fragrant. So I'm going to put that in there and let that start to release. And just stir frequently because you want to make sure that all of the pieces are getting warm and nobody's sitting on top cold and lonely without getting a chance to meet all of the friends in the pot here. It says you want to cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes until everything is softened and fragrant. So I want to start to smell that garlic. I want to see that these bell peppers have broken down a little bit. Sit for a little bit. So yeah, so I have my beef broth. I'm going to use about half of this. I have my diced tomatoes and some sugar-free, right? Yeah, there's no sugar in here. Tomato sauce. I think that's one of the things that my pantry is super full of, is all different kinds of diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, peeled plum tomatoes, tomatoes with chilies. I have so many different kinds of cans of tomatoes because they're so useful in so many different recipes, and that's definitely been a pantry staple for me because I can do almost any kind of dish. Like I can grab a little bit of macaroni and put it with spinach and diced tomatoes, and it's a delicious macaroni dish, and protein, of course. I can make a sauce. Yesterday I made taco soup. I had some ground meat and I mixed it with a little bit of the tomatoes with chilies, a little bit of coconut milk, some extra spices, and it was really good. So I love having many different kinds of tomatoes on hand in my pantry. Alright, good. Some of this liquid is finally starting to cook out. And the peppers are starting to cook down a little bit, not entirely, but they're getting there. Can you see no, you can't see my massive cookbook pile that just keeps growing and growing and growing behind me, but so many cookbooks, so little time. Smell the bell peppers. They're starting to break down a little bit. Alright, so now's a good time to add everything else. The tomatoes, tomato sauce, the broth, and we're just going to let it cook down. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my diced tomatoes, my tomato sauce, and about half of this container of broth. And then this whole thing kind of has to cook down a little bit. Mix this all together and I'll tell you what to do if you want to use a pressure cooker. Right, you can see now we're mixing this all up. My beef and my onions already have a lot of flavor from cooking on their own, getting a little brown. But now everything is going to cook down together really nicely. So what you're going to do next, if you are using an Instant Pot, pressure cooker, or whatever that is, This is also when you're going to add in the macaroni. So if you are using dry macaroni, which most people do, you're going to put that in now. And then you're going to seal and cook on high pressure for 5 minutes. See, I don't have an Instant Pot, so I don't understand these instructions, but I know so many of you do. It's one of our most requested cookbooks. Seal and cook on high pressure for 5 minutes. Quick release so the pasta stops cooking, then open when the pressure subsides. Discard the bay leaf, top the dish with cheddar, cover, and let sit until the cheese has melted. Garnish with fresh parsley if desired. So, but here, down here is the no pressure cooker, no problem section. So, I'm going to bring it to a boil, then cook over a medium-low heat until the pasta is cooked and the liquid is absorbed about 20 minutes. So, again, different for me because I'm not using dried pasta. So I'm going to let this cook down as is on its own. And while that is happening, I'm going to put some things in the sink, in the fridge. I think I used a little less than half. Let me put a little more. Because I'm not going to let this cook down for a super long time. So I'm not adding in that much liquid, but we still want the flavor from the beef broth. Smells good. I can smell the peppers. Now I can really smell the peppers now that they're really softening. Okay, so I'm gonna rinse these, recycle, rinse and recycle. This goes in the fridge, this goes in the fridge. And these go in the pantry, and we are bubbling and bubbling away. Because I'm on the stove here, and I know that my stove runs particularly hot all the time, I'm going to make sure that I'm giving it a little stir every now and then. I don't want anything to scorch on the bottom. And again, we do want this to reduce a little bit. So while this is cooking a little bit, I'll show you some of the rest of the cookbook. We'll walk through the rest of it together. Now that I have the space on my countertop. A little wipe before I put a library book down on it. Yeah, that's pretty good heat. Again, just keep an eye on it, give it a stir every now and then. So like I said, obviously it's called Skinny Taste. The deal is that everything should be pretty, FF means freezer friendly. Quick, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, those are some of the keys. And she does have on her website Weight Watchers points if you're doing Weight Watchers. So everything is just supposed to be healthy, and it's not like devoid of flavor or dairy or grains, but she really shows you how to control portions and how to make recipes that you might be craving in a very fresh way so that it's not processed. And again, there are lots of swaps and things that you can do to make it even healthier. Ooh, turkey cheeseburger soup. That's also in the Instant Pot. Oh, now you're starting to spit up a little bit. Don't get so mad at me. In the Instant Pot chapter. Ground turkey, some butter, onion, carrots, celery, garlic, a little bit of all-purpose flour, can be gluten-free, salt, pepper, chicken broth, potatoes, cauliflower, cheddar cheese, and chopped scallions. That sounds great. Coconut chicken and butternut curry in a hurry. Again, pressure cooker. If you take out the pressure cooker, it's no longer in a hurry, but you can still make the recipe the way you'd like. Let's find a different chapter here. Sheet pan and baking dish. Oh, this looks good. Lemon Parmesan shrimp with broccoli and cauliflower. And it all just goes on one sheet pan. You preheat the oven and you just kind of put everything in there together. Well, you roast the vegetables first. Obviously, shrimp does not need to cook as long as cauliflower and broccoli. This is good. It's got pine nuts, some lemon, some fresh parsley. I love roasted broccoli. I do it in my air fryer all the time. I actually have a head of broccoli, and that's going to be its fate for dinner tonight. Crab stuffed shrimp. What is it stuffed with? Dijon mustard, parsley, Old Bay seasoning. I have a really great seasoning. It's a riff on Old Bay, but it's from a company that makes everything. It's sugar-free, it's natural, it's clean, there are no additives, no MSG, and it's called New Bay, B-A-E, like Bay. Like, I guess only the millennials know that one. I don't think the younger kids use that one anymore. Maybe they do, I don't know. So I'm just giving it a stir. I want everything to stay nice. It is starting to thicken up a little bit, which is nice. And I will taste it in a minute or so just to check for seasoning, because remember I didn't add that much salt because I was adding broth to it. So skillet meals, bacon wrapped barbecue ranch chicken salad. That sounds amazing. And here's how to make your own ranch dressing. And so it's healthy, it's fresh, it's not processed. She does make swaps like low-fat buttermilk and light mayonnaise and those kinds of things. And I usually normally eat like full-fat things because they're generally actually better for you. But it just depends on your lifestyle and your eating plan. Fiesta chicken and carrot rice. That sounds good. What chapter is this? This is the Dutch oven. Chicken fajita pasta. Spicy shrimp tempura roll bowls. Look at that. That looks great. Oh, there is stuff I was going to say, so maybe it's because it's got less rice. But she teaches you how to make the spicy mayo, which is just mayonnaise and sriracha. The vinaigrette, like all of these things that you would find. So also you can get these kinds of foods. A lot of them are reminiscent of dishes maybe you would not get unless you were out to eat, or like I said, they're, you know, heavily processed. You get them in the freezer section, but here they are fresh, which is awesome. Okay, I'm gonna grab a spoon and just give a little taste. It is actually starting to reduce. Can you see the line on the pot? It went from here to down where the sauce is now. You can kind of see. So it is actually starting to reduce, which is nice. Alright, I'm going to give a little bit of taste to make sure there's enough salt in here. Hot. No, I think it's good. And taste the paprika. Also remember, I used coconut aminos, Worcestershire sauce. Those also all have salt in them as well. Let me taste it again a little bit, like I kind of can't tell. Which means to me I feel like that's enough salt. Yeah, I think it's enough salt. I feel like if you can't tell if there's enough salt or not, that means there's enough. Don't add any more because then it's going to get too salty. Of course, if you're cooking your dry macaroni in here, it is going to reduce probably a little faster. You don't need to keep it up as high as I am. I'm kind of doing the speed version here because your macaroni is going to absorb all of this liquid and take on the flavor as it cooks, which is awesome. Breaded popcorn shrimp with tartar sauce. Oh, this is the air fryer section. It's my favorite. Crispy salmon fish sticks. Wow. And it says no air fryer, no problem. Make this in the oven, bake at 425 for 10 minutes. Easy enough. Crispy breaded pork chops. Ooh, this in the air fryer looks great. I don't eat this kind of food, but Italian sausage and pepper calzone. And look, in the air fryer, that crust comes out so golden and delicious. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So what you're going to do next is add your cheddar cheese. You can also use, she says you can use mozzarella, you can use Parmesan, you can use no cheese. I went for a dairy-free cheese. Where's my bay leaf? I'm trying to find the bay leaf so it comes out. Or I can get it out so I don't eat it. So you're not supposed to eat them. Okay. And then you kind of let that melt. I'm actually going to transfer some of this into my small pot because I already pre-cooked just a small portion of pasta because I don't want to let it sit in this because I'm not 6 people. I'm not going to eat it all at once. So I'm going to transfer a little bit of this into this pot and heat it up with my macaroni that I just kind of barely cooked. And then I'll put my cheese on top so you can see what that all looks like. So I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to add some of this to my small pot. And I'll turn the heat on this and I'll add my pasta to this dish. That's a pretty good portion. Like I said, it says it serves 6, so I'm not going totally wild here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab my pasta. I have spaghetti, the grain-free pasta that I like. They don't make elbow macaroni, so it's fine. I'm just going to put that in. I'll start to stir it up. Once the pasta is warmed through, I'll put the cheddar on top. And that'll be it. It'll be time to taste. So I'm just gonna warm this through. Let's grab this. Oof. My handles are hot, but I want to move that to the back burner. There we go. And so if you are like me and you're not going to eat this all at once, what I've done is I drained the rest of the pasta because I made the package all at once because it's a fresh frozen product. And so I'm going to store them separately. So anytime I want a little bit more, I'll take a scoop of the pasta and a scoop of this from their separate containers so that this pasta doesn't get too mushy when I'm storing it. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna grab my fake cheese, my faux cheddar. actually tastes pretty good. I feel like I'm always trying different brands because I never really know which I like and I never really remember. So this one that I got was pretty good. So I'm just going to put this in here and let that melt a little bit. Take you a little closer. There we go. So this is the big pot. And here we have this. I'm going to actually turn the heat off because this is definitely cooked. And the cheese is going to melt a little bit, and I'm just going to serve it up. I am hungry, and I am excited to eat my lunch today. All right, let's see how this... I also don't, I mean, like I said, I've never tried this brand before. This is the first. I saved it for today, so I wonder how it melts and what that's like. I'm just going to go ahead and put it into my bowl, and we're going to give this a try together. This is actually a really hearty serving. This is nice. Not that I served myself too much, but that, like, there's just a lot in this. This is full of, you know, the peppers and the onions and the tomato sauce. There are so many nutrients in here. The beef, lots of protein. Okay, I'm gonna grab a fork. Okay, so here it is. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit. I kind of want to see what that fake cheddar is doing. Looks like it's melting and stretching a little bit. Oh, I can see it in there. Right, so this is my big old bowl. It smells really good. Oh wow, that smells amazing. All right, I'm gonna try to grab a little bit of everything in here. A little bit of the cheese, a little bit of the bell pepper, pasta, some beef. All right, let's see how it is. This is really good. I love the addition of the bell pepper to the sauce, so it isn't just a straight up tomato sauce. And the sweet paprika really, really enhances the taste of that bell pepper. Perfect amount of salt. I did not need to add any extra. And then my fake cheddar is just a subtle note. I didn't add that much of the fake cheese. But that is up to you how you want to serve it. But it just adds a subtle little creaminess and just a little, like, little bite. This is very good, actually. This is delicious. This is delicious. This is filling. This is hearty. I actually really like this recipe. And then I have 5 more servings left. So I'll be eating this for the rest of this week. So that is it. That is our American-style cheesy beef goulash and macaroni. Basically like Hamburger Helper, but fresher, better for you. And again, this Skinny Taste One and Done cookbook, which is available for curbside pickup. You can call, well, obviously not today. It's not there today. It'll be back tomorrow because I'm here with the book. Or you can order it from another library, but it'll be faster to wait for it to come back. Okay, just smacking myself in the face with this because I'm excited to show it off. Anyway, so like I said, this is a really great cookbook. It's fast, it's easy, everything is one bowl, and it's easy to adapt for whatever your dietary needs are. Like I said, I'm grain-free and dairy-free, and I managed to make it work for me, and it's so delicious. So that is it for today. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day. I hope you enjoy all of the sunshine out there, and I will see you all soon. Bye.